back to Speak for Yourself with Eric Mangini, presented by Hyundai. That was a joke about us going at Mangini. You guys didn't. No one liked that joke.
I mean, look,
Eric Mangini
I ain't going at him
looks for back.
ever again.
Time now for a story. Let's move to Minnesota,
Coaches.
where the Vikings are trying to bounce back after an ugly loss to the Bears Sunday. Star receiver Adam Thielen was so frustrated by missed opportunities that he called out Kirk Cousins after the game, saying, "You have to be able to hit the deep balls." Thielen later tried to backtrack on Twitter, but yesterday Cousins did something shocking on his radio show.
I really want to apologize to him because there's too many opportunities where we could have hit him on Sunday. And I've watched the film, and the reality is there were opportunities for him. Adam's not just a really good player or one of the best players on the Vikings. He's one of the best players in the NFL, one of the best players in the world, period, regardless of position. And so we want to, we need to, and when I say we, really, I mean I need to get him more opportunities, get him the football.
All right, the question is, do you like this move by Kirk Cousins? And I kind of do.
Yeah, I'm a little less than kind of do. I'm like, Look, it's a positive that his ego is not taking up the room to the point where he can't show contrition and say, I apologize for mistakes. That said, ultimately, it does nothing for me because what I'm talking about, you have not fixed. You're just telling me you feel bad that it's messed up. That's fine. But now we got to get on this football field and fix this. And this has been an issue since they got together in terms of even Kirk Cousins admitting I need to play a little better or may not be long for Minnesota. So it just takes me to those moments when you leave church on Sunday. You know, we all up in there hearing the right things. And then as soon as you walk out in the parking lot, somebody start cursing, somebody start cutting somebody off. Like, damn, can you do the right things, not just hear the right things? So I heard the right thing. I just need to see it, bro.
Yeah, you hear that saying, don't tell me you love me, show me you love me. And I'm sure that's what Adam Thielen wants to see. He wants to see some sort of change. And I understand his frustration. I don't like him talking about it. I don't think there's any need to do that. I don't really like Kirk Cousins addressing it either. To me, that's something you handle internally. But when you look at this, Case Keenum has very similar stats to what Kirk Cousins had in his first year with a $26 million difference. Minnesota's the second to last team in the NFL in cap space because they had to pay Kirk Cousins. And Washington hasn't gotten a lot of stuff right, but it seems like moving on from Kirk Cousins was one of them. 13-3 without him, 8-7-1 with him. There's probably a lot of frustration in that locker room because he was brought in to elevate their play, and it looks like now they have to manage him so that he doesn't lose the game. This has to get fixed. Is there a quick fix? It doesn't look like it based off of the way that they're using him in the early part of the season.
Man, the dangerous thing in the locker room is when you overpay somebody and then you run out onto the field and then you look and you see the talent and you're like, man, this guy is not a $28 million quarterback. And everyone else is being asked to up their game to take care of the guy who is supposed to be the franchise player. It's a problem. And when they haven't won, look, because they won with Case Keenum, and they were on the verge of going to the Super Bowl with Case Keenum. And so now they bring in Kirk Cousins, and the only thing he is brought in to do is to get them over the hump, and they appear to be a worse team, lesser than what they were with a lesser player. Man, it is hard. And I think what we heard from Adam Thielen is the frustration of, man, if we just had a quarterback, we could be that team that everyone expects us to be.
And I'm going to go back to, again, I was someone that said Washington shouldn't pay Kirk Cousins. I was on the record repeatedly. I didn't like him as a franchise quarterback going to Minnesota, and I felt like they overpaid him. But now that he's here and you got to work with it, I like him taking responsibility and accountability. I think that Adam Thielen was on the radio show earlier and probably still in the room when Kirk Cousins said these things. And I think it's what Eric said. These type comments go on all the time on football teams in private, one-on-one. This time we just got to hear it. Again, the first step to recovery is admission of a problem. He's on the record. He's the problem. That's the first step. Now, whether or not he can take the second step, I tend to doubt it. I've never believed in the guy, but at least he's acknowledging he's the problem.
That works in many elements of life, but in the football field, in the football locker room, that's tough. One, he's not taking responsibility. If I'm walking in the house with heavy, both hands full of groceries, and you're like, damn, that looks heavy. You know what I need you to do? Take some of these groceries, bro. Thielen, like, just give me the ball. I don't want to hear about anything else. And I think when you're a dependent player, see, the beauty of playing defensive line is I couldn't blame anybody but myself. Like, being real, it was just me and an offensive lineman who was like a yard away. But when you're a receiver and you're wide open and you're like, oh, bruh, and you're the man and you're getting paid and you're supposed to be the fixer, coach says keep it internally. He is. It's just bursting through the seams. And it's a collective in that locker room. It's like, bro, we need more than words. And he's not giving it to him.
And what makes it worse is that guy comes through the door with his groceries. The guy who's saying, damn, that looks heavy, is sitting in a hot tub drinking Cristal. and he's smoking a Cuban cigar with a case of money all around. And everybody else is like, you know, I'd really like some of that. And the team sits back and says, well, we'd love to, but it's all right there. So now everybody else is frustrated, and there needs to be some sort of progress, because you can't manage a guy with $100 million guarantee. It's just, you can't.
Yeah, and it's tough because they're changing their style of play. This is a team that is running the ball all the time as if their quarterback is a non-issue. They might as well run the single wing for as much as they're trying to run it.
Right.
And so for Kirk Cousins, like, we can talk about, like, hey, I'm glad he admitted it, but man, we're a year plus into this.
Right.
You're supposed to be the guy that helps us get over it, and he has not played to that level. And the fact that they're managing games with a $28 million quarterback, that is ridiculous in the National Football League. And I know that you have to pay the quarterback what the market bears, but man, at some point, the production has to match the compensation, and that's why that frustration is coming out.
All right, coming up, Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta joins the show to talk Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and his team's championship hopes. Next! Speak for Yourself is presented by Hyundai.